It says I'm live. Good morning, everyone. Today is Monday, and it is January 30th, 2023. And here we go once again. Did my comment make it here? Maybe not. Chat. This is going to be live chat. This is going to be something new for me to play with. We are on. Is anyone here? If so, let me know that you're here. Oh, hopefully you got the link. I can't see. It doesn't say anybody said anything, but I'm going to trust that you guys find us here, find me here. It's taken me 4+ years to get to a good solid 7 or 8 people. So I've got high aspirations this year. It'd be by the end of the year, maybe we can make it to 10. We're trying a new platform because we had lots of problems on Facebook. And so we're trying here. Let's see if this is going to work any better. And hopefully you find it here. If you find it here, please send a chat. I don't know if I can see the chats while I am on here, but I'll try to watch for them. If I see your chat, say hello, good morning. You can get into the live chat feature. You can post your comments there. And if I'm lucky, I'll be able to see them. You also have a very bigger screen, which can see a little bit more. You can see now the whole scenery. Kathy says, I can't get the chat to work, but she's on here. Good morning, Miss Kathy. I wonder why you can't get the chat to work. I have no idea. We're all learning here at, I was going to say we're all learning here at Posey and Jets, but this isn't Posey and Jets. This is a piece of hope. A piece of hope is what I found back in 2014. And I hope that you are discovering your piece of hope as well. Anyway, let's try to get into a routine here as we have been. I got to do this all in a different order now, so it kind of is throwing me off. So please excuse me, but this channel's been under construction for nearly 5 years, so it's not changing. Just gives me a new excuse to make. Anyway, so here is our daily message for today. As our day begins, we can open our eyes in the blessings of this new day. We can fold our hands over our hearts and hold God close to us and in our hearts, breathing in his love and grace, being gently soothed with his boundless love. We can talk with God. Whoops, hit a wrong button there. See, I'm not used to doing this on my phone. We can talk with God and then burden our shows, trusting in to give us answers to our challenges, finding joy, visiting with him, and experiencing quality time with him. Let us take his love and grace and share it with the world, reaching out and helping others do his will in everything. In the beauty of nature, a fresh new snow whitens to the world. It appears to wash away the darkness of the world. Let us realize that the fresh new snow whitens and cleans up the world around us and is like Jesus' blood that washes over us and takes away our sins. What tremendous forgiveness we receive from the blood of Jesus. Let God's doesn't be the focal point of our consciousness. I'm trying to proofread again. And all the pieces of our lives will fall into place. Being with God, our lives will be meaningful, and we can do his will in all our actions, thoughts, and deeds. Let us be aware of his presence, and he will provide us strength, healing and peace during those times. We lose our focus on Him and are vulnerable to Him, are vulnerable. And we are vulnerable to fear, anxiety, loneliness, and other unwanted feelings. Awareness of God's presence can dispel these painful feelings and replace them with His peace, a piece of hope. Pretty cool, ain't it? Let's see here. Live attentively of His presence and experience the wonderment of His love and grace. In life, we will experience pain, sorrows, and loss. With God, we can be strengthened and helped to overcome all our challenges of life. Live today with love, joy, excitement, peace, and wonderment. There's that peace again. Isn't that pretty cool? Peace, a piece of hope. Shalom, shalom, shalom. But it's two different forms of peace. Peace is like a piece of a puzzle, and then the peace we all crave. Shalom. Be grateful to God for all our blessings and enjoy the wonderful journey of today. God's blessings on your day. Much love to each of you. And there you go. That is your message for today. Kathy says, yay, I figured it out. She figured out how to put a comment. I tried to put a comment on there too. Let me see if I can do this. She did. Let me see if I can try this again. Nothing like trying to do this. Let me just do some housekeeping here. Please hold. Let's see if that works. I don't know really. I'm trying to get something to post too. Let's see. Did it post? I don't know. Anyway, I've got the weather forecast here. I've tried to post it. I'm not seeing it here. I don't want to actually hit refresh. That wouldn't be very good during a live broadcast. Anyway, I've got your weather here from Chief Meteorologist Miss Marcia. It is Des Moines 10, partly cloudy, 9-mile-an-hour winds. West Des Moines 9, partly cloudy, 9-mile-an-hour winds. It's going to be that cold today. Oh, yuck. Waukee 9, partly cloudy, 8-mile-an-hour winds. Council Bluffs 13, partly cloudy, 5-mile-an-hour winds. Pleasant Hill 9, partly cloudy, 9-mile-an-hour winds. We've got Altoona 8, partly cloudy, 9-mile-an-hour winds. Dubuque 9. Is anybody going to get in double digits today? I know we will as we get further in the forecast. Let's see here. What did I say? Dubuque 9, partly cloudy, 12-mile-an-hour winds. We got to Monticello with Dave. He has 5, partly cloudy, 10-mile-an-hour winds. Kansas City, there we go. We're in double digits. Kansas City, Scott, you've got 20, partly cloudy, 12-mile-an-hour winds. Dixon, Miss Tina, 9, partly cloudy, 11-mile-an-hour winds. Waxhaw, 62, cloudy, 2-mile-an-hour winds. Sierra Vista, 61, sunny, 6-mile-an-hour winds. And Texas Tommy, 40, showers, 18. And then it says with a warning. All right. So there is your weather forecast. Have a great day, everyone. That is your weather forecast from Chief Meteorologist Miss Marcia. Kathy says, I had to click the learn more, then change my screen name, then click OK. I don't know. I am trying to post on here and I'm not having good luck myself. I'm not really sure of what I'm doing. Nothing like trying to do this. Oh, you know what? Oh, wait. There, I might have just got to post. Let's see. Uh, Not like trying to figure out this yourself. My message might be too long. That might be the problem. The forecast might be too long. Testing. Let's just put a shorter message in. There. That's what it is. 200 characters. That's the problem. I can't. I got it to work now. Testing. Hello. uh, let's see if anybody gets this. I'll give you. I will give you a gold star if you get this. Gold star, the first person that can comment the right answer. Oh, geez. Anyway, where am I going next? I got a program in which is getting out of control. I thought I would squeeze in a story. Sports news while I get ready for story time. In sporting news, it's like a Zoom call. Can you hear me? There you go. Kathy, gold star for you. Marco Polo. Oh, boy. In sports news, it was not very exciting yesterday in the first game. We had Brock Purdy of the San Francisco 49ers, the third string quarterback, who was taking on Jalen Hurts of the Philadelphia Eagles. And we were looking forward to seeing Iowa State to Iowa in the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, Purdy got hurt early. And then they had to go to their fourth string quarterback. He got hurt. He hit his head on the turf. And then he was out for the game. So they had no quarterbacks left. It was either put Christian McCaffrey, the running back, in a quarterback, or what happened is Purdy came back in, but the problem was he couldn't throw. He had lost feeling in his arm. You really got to feel bad if you're a San Francisco fan. I know I was feeling bad, and I'm not even a full board San Francisco fan. As you know, I'm a Tampa Bay fan, but I really felt bad for San Francisco. Nothing like losing your quarterback and then losing your backup quarterback. There's not much you can do when you're 2-3 touchdowns down and you're running the ball and you can't throw it. So unfortunately, it didn't work out for San Francisco. Philadelphia, the home team, on to the Super Bowl, where they will face off against the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs Kingdom, very happy. The game looked like it might go to overtime, but a costly penalty by Cincinnati, a late hit out of bounds, cost them 15 yards, and the 15 yards was enough for a Butker field goal for Kansas City as time expired. Well, actually, there was still 3 seconds to go on the clock. They did a last-minute kickoff, some laterals, and didn't work, and Cincinnati is out of the playoffs, and Kansas City, the 1 seed. It really shows you the importance of the regular season and trying to get that top seed. Doesn't always play out that way, but in this year, in the year in which there was so many good teams, it was the top teams, Philadelphia, Kansas City, that will square off on not this coming Sunday, because this coming Sunday, you have the skills competition and an NFL flag football game. Did you ever think of the time in which you would have a flag football? I saw a lot of flag football down in North Carolina. There's now going to be an NFL, NFC, AFC flag football game. Will you tune in for that? Oh, good morning. Good morning. There's Katie commenting in. Good morning. Hi, Katie. Good morning, Marie. She found her way in. There we go. Don't like yet. No, I won't. So make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And let's see if we can get to 10 subscribers by the end of this year. I'm going to guess this isn't going to be a monetary stream for me. And look, we're going to have to see how long it takes me to get in trouble on YouTube. You know what? Here's our first chance. Because, of course, last night I just mentioned it is going to be Philadelphia against Kansas City in the Super Bowl. And what do you think of? You know what I thought of? I thought of number one, Andy Reid, who used to coach the Eagles and now coaches the Chiefs. It's kind of like an Andy Reid Bowl. Or you can think of the Kelsey brothers. Is his name Jacob, I think? And Travis. Two Kelsey brothers going to square off in the Super Bowl. But of course, where does ESPN and the media go? They don't talk about the Andy Reid Super Bowl. They don't talk about the Kelsey brothers Super Bowl. The media, what they do is they go to, this is the first Super Bowl that features two black quarterbacks. In an age in which we're not supposed to be about race, the media a lot of times likes to go to race. Just saying. That's just the way they paint things. And the thing is that I guess in my naive sense of mind, I didn't think about that. I'm thinking about, oh, Andy Reid and the fact that he used to coach at Philadelphia and now coaches at Kansas City. I, of course, was talking about it during the game. Oh, we could have the matchup that the Kelsey brothers squaring off. My mind doesn't go where the media's mind goes. I like it better than Facebook already. And no buffering. There we go. It's when I did the test one on what night was that? Was that Friday night or Saturday night? I don't know. I lost track. Everyone seemed to like it better except Marcia was having a struggle. Marcia actually said that this YouTube format is worse for her than Facebook. So please continue to give your commentary below. I know Kathy, this has got to be better for Kathy because I could see Kathy keep coming back into the chat room. Every time Kathy would come back, I would see her come back. Kathy spent a lot of time coming back to the chat. So I figured that it's got to be better for Kathy, but for the others of you, is it better or is it worse? This is all a trial. Anyway, we've got to get moving here because we've got story time. I was going to do story time. I got story time ready. Today's story is From Homeless to Harvard. By the time the 60s had turned to the 80s, her hippie parents were mainlining Coke. And I'm not going to say that's probably not the Coke you're thinking of. While their kids starved, the couple spent welfare checks on cocaine and heroin. When cupboards were empty, the girls sucked on ice cubes. One night, they divided a tube of toothpaste for dinner. Liz remembers her mother stealing money for her birthday gift and selling the television set and a Thanksgiving turkey to buy a hit of Coke. She recalls going to school, lice-ridden, scruffy, and smelly. While the other kids began to bully her, she dropped out. When her parents slept away their days in a drug-induced stupor, she was a wild child on the mean streets of New York City. Her mother often said, one day life is going to get better. But Liz can't remember how many days she nursed her mother in that lice-filled, rundown flat. She does remember the day that her mom told her that she had tested HIV positive and she had AIDS. Soon after, her mother died and was buried in a donated wooden box. When her dad couldn't pay the rent and moved into a homeless shelter, Liz was out on the streets. She fed herself by shoplifting food. She also stole self help books that sparked dreams. She remembered how often her mother had said, "One day I'll fix my life." So she decided to fix hers. At age 17, this school dropout was hopelessly behind, but she came up with an audacious plan to finish high school in 2 years, completing a year each semester in an accelerated program. Not only did Liz accomplish this Herculean task, she did it with straight A's. When a mentor took her to Harvard, she set her sights on being admitted to America's most prestigious college. Her mother often said, "One day, life is going to get better." That day came for Liz when she received a scholarship to pay for Harvard. It wasn't easy for this homeless girl from the streets of New York to fit into an Ivy League school, but Liz Murray persisted to graduation. The scruffy, smelly shoplifter whom people avoided was now inspiring a nation. Oprah Winfrey gave her a Chutzpah Award. She shared her story on stages with world leaders like Bill Clinton, Tony Blair, Mikhail Gorbachev, and Dalai Lama. And she wrote a New York Times bestseller, Breaking Night. Her life became an inspiration for the movie Homeless to Harvard. Today, Liz is married with 2 children, and she gives her time to helping homeless kids at New York's Covenant House. She still finds inspiration in a note that her dad gave her just before he died of AIDS. "Lizzie, I left my dreams behind a long time ago. Now they are safe with you." The amazing story of Liz Murray proves that dreams can transform if we pay the price to make them come true. Lizzie's story is one of the persevering effort that turns dreamers into achievers. Thomas Edison said it best: success is 10% inspiration and 90% perspiration. Jesus told him, "Anyone who puts a hand to the plow and then looks back is not fit for the kingdom of God." And that is Luke 9:62. I need to have a bookmark for this book now. And that is your story for this Monday, January 30th. How do you like story time? Should we continue with story time? Let's see. We've got comments. Scott, Bible Blues Brother Scott, good morning, sir. You found your way on. Kathy says, "Scott, great Scott, he has found us." He's not very happy now because he doesn't have an excuse to go on Facebook now. But you know what? If you're not going on Facebook, you can't end up in Facebook jail. Oh, Marie says, "Looks like Scott found us. Someone has to teach Tom how to get on. It's harder to find the video as well as finding comments. I found the video but couldn't find the comments at first. Definitely a change to get used to, but it's not bad." So there's Miss Jackie. Good morning, everyone. I couldn't figure out how to comment on my phone, so I had to go to my computer. I need to get that figured out for tomorrow. There's Kelly with her thumbs up. Good morning, Miss Kelly. And Kathy says, "I watched the Chosen episode." I know. Um, oh my goodness, so emotional. Can't wait for the next episode on. So, did you know, Kathy, that the Chosen, the final two episodes are going to the theater? So I would look for that. You know how they had the first two episodes of season three available in the theater? I believe it is maybe Tuesday or Thursday night, rather. Check it out. I think Thursday night, you can go to the theater and you can see on the big screen the last two episodes of season three, or at least I think they're the last two episodes of season three. Um, so yeah, they're going to bring that to the big screen. Also, there's another movie coming out. I can't remember the name of it. Jesus Revolution. I don't know if you have seen ads for that one yet, but that is coming out toward the end of February, and that's going to be available in the movie theaters as well. And I can look at my phone because um, I'm not on my phone doing, because I've actually marked it on my calendar. Let's see. There we go. You can go on February 22nd, which is a Wednesday, before it gets released. This is Jesus Revolution. It's about Chuck Smith, Greg Laurie, and it also features someone that you may recognize, Jonathan Rumi. He is the one who plays Jesus on The Chosen. He stars in this movie as well, and it kind of throws people off. So if you get a chance, go out and check out the trailer for Jesus Revolution. It really threw some people off because they thought, because of course he's playing Jesus on The Chosen, that all of a sudden it's kind of like Jesus appearing in this movie. And of course, he was playing a hippie in this movie, and because we've now see him as Jesus, and he's as a hippie, he looks like Jesus. So it's kind of like Jesus appearing in this movie, which is called Jesus Revolution. So check that out, Jesus Revolution, and that will be, if you want to go for the special viewing before it gets released. I believe it releases either on the 23rd or 24th of February, but you can go on a special evening on that Wednesday, the 22nd, in which it'll be the day we set up for the Des Moines Home and Garden Show, because we're going to be doing that Thursday through Sunday down there at the event center. And so I think what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to squeeze a movie in that night as well. B. There we go. So Kathy doesn't know where the B came from. So there you got a couple movies coming up. The Chosen, the final two episodes of season three, which will be coming out later this week, and Jesus Revolution, which you can go and see in theaters on February 22nd. Better get to the word. Kelly's going to say it's 7:45 and I haven't started reading yet. And that's what we're here for today. Okay, we pick up in Exodus chapter 10, verse 1. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Return to Pharaoh and make your demands again. I have made him and his officials stubborn so I can display my miraculous signs among them. I've also done it so you can tell your children and grandchildren about how I made a mockery of the Egyptians and about the signs I displayed among them. And so you will know that I am the Lord." So Moses and Aaron went to Pharaoh and said, "This is what the Lord, the God of the Hebrews, says. How long will you refuse to submit to me? Let my people go so they can worship me. If you refuse, watch out. For tomorrow I will bring a swarm of locusts on your country. They will cover the land so that you won't be able to see the ground. They will devour what little is left of your crops after the hailstorm, including all the trees growing in the fields. They will overrun your palaces and the homes of your officials and all the houses in Egypt. Never in the history of Egypt have your ancestors seen a plague like this one. And with that, Moses turned and left Pharaoh. Pharaoh's officials now came to Pharaoh and appealed to him. How long will you let this man hold us hostage? Let the men go to worship the Lord their God. Don't you realize that Egypt lies in ruins? So Moses and Aaron were brought back to Pharaoh. All right, he told them, go and worship the Lord your God. But who exactly will be going with you? Moses replied, we will all go, young and old, our sons and daughters, and our flocks and herds. We must all join together in celebrating a festival to the Lord. Pharaoh retorted, the Lord will certainly need to be with you if I let you take your little ones. I can see through your evil plan. Never. Only the men may go and worship the Lord, since that is what you requested. And Pharaoh threw them out of the palace. Then the Lord said to Moses, raise your hand over the land of Egypt to bring on the locusts. Let them cover the land and devour every plant that survived the hailstorm. So Moses raised his staff over Egypt, and the Lord caused an east wind to blow over the land all that day and through the night. Are you catching it? The Lord has declared this, but who is doing the action? He is working through Moses. He is working through a man. And so in these days, in which we're looking for God to take action in our lives, in our time, how does it happen? It happens through us, his people. We do what we're called to do. We have all been created for a reason, a purpose, a plan, God's plan, God's will. It is when we do what God calls us to do that we see God's work done through us. Just as this work is being done through Moses. When morning arrived, the east wind had brought the locusts, and the locusts swarmed over the whole land of Egypt, settling in dense swarms from one end of the country to the other. It was the worst locust plague in Egyptian history. And there never been another one like it. For the locusts covered the whole country and darkened the land. They devoured every plant in the fields and all the fruit on the trees that had survived the hailstorm. Not a single leaf was left on the trees and plants throughout the land of Egypt. Pharaoh quickly summoned Moses and Aaron. I have sinned against the Lord your God and against you, he confessed. Forgive my sin just this once and plead with the Lord your God to take away this death from me. So Moses left Pharaoh's court and pleaded with the Lord. The Lord responded by shifting the wind, and the strong west wind blew the locusts into the Red Sea. Not a single locust remained in all the land of Egypt. But the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart again, so he refused to let the people go. Then the Lord said to Moses, lift your hand, lift your hands. I know it's lay your hand, but lift your hands, pretty close. And the land of Egypt will be covered with a darkness so thick you can feel it. So Moses lifted his hand to the sky, and a deep darkness covered the entire land of Egypt. There it is again, for 3 days. During all that time, the people could not see each other and no one moved. But there was light as usual where the people of Israel lived. Finally, Pharaoh called for Moses. Go and worship the Lord, he said, but leave your flocks and herds here. You may even take your little ones with you. No, Moses said, you must provide us with the animals for sacrifices and burnt offerings to the Lord our God. All our livestock must go with us too. Not a hoof can be left behind. We must choose our sacrifices for the Lord our God from among these animals. And we won't know how we are to worship the Lord until we get there. But the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart once more, and he would not let them go. Get out of here, Pharaoh shouted at Moses. I'm warning you, never come back to see me again. The day you see my face, you will die. Very well, Moses replied. I will never see your face again. Then the Lord said to Moses, I will strike Pharaoh and the land of Egypt with one more blow. After that, Pharaoh will let you leave this country. In fact, he will be so eager to get rid of you, he will force you all to leave. Tell all the Israelite men and women to ask their Egyptian neighbors for articles of silver and gold. Now the Lord had caused the Egyptians to look favorably on the people of Israel. And Moses was considered a very great man in the land of Egypt, respected by Pharaoh's officials and the Egyptian people alike. Moses had announced to Pharaoh, this is what the Lord says, at midnight tonight I will pass through the heart of Egypt. All the firstborn sons will die in every family in Egypt, from the oldest son of Pharaoh who sits on his throne to the oldest son of his lowliest servant girl who grinds the flour. Even the firstborn of all the livestock will die. Then a loud wail will rise throughout the land of Egypt, a wail like no one has heard before or will ever hear again. But among the Israelites it will be so peaceful that not even a dog will bark. Then you will know that the Lord makes a distinction between the Egyptians and the Israelites. All the officials of Egypt will run to me and fall to the ground before me. Please leave, they will beg. Hurry and take all your followers with you. Only then will I go. Then, burning with anger, Moses left Pharaoh. Now the Lord had told Moses earlier, Pharaoh will not listen to you, but then I will do even more mighty miracles in the land of Egypt. Moses and Aaron performed these miracles in Pharaoh's presence, but the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he wouldn't let the Israelites leave the country. While the Israelites were still in the land of Egypt, the Lord gave the following instructions to Moses and Aaron. From now on, this month will be the first month of the year for you. Announce to the whole community of Israel that on the 10th day of this month, each family must choose a lamb or a young goat for a sacrifice, one animal for each household. If a family is too small to eat a whole animal, let them share with another family in the neighborhood. Divide the animal according to the size of each family and how much they can eat. The animal you select must be a 1-year-old male, either a sheep or a goat, with no defects. Take special care of this chosen animal until the evening of the 14th day of this first month. Then the whole assembly of the community of Israel must slaughter their lamb or goat at twilight. They are to take some of the blood and smear it on the sides and top of the door frames of the houses where they eat the animal. That same night, they must roast the meat over a fire and eat it along with bitter salad greens and bread made without yeast. Do not eat any of the meat raw or boiled in water. The whole animal, including the head, legs, and internal organs, must be roasted over a fire. Do not leave any of it until the next morning. Burn whatever is not eaten before morning. These are your instructions for eating this meal. Be fully dressed, wear your sandals, and carry your walking stick in your hand. Eat the meal with urgency, for this is the Lord's Passover. On that night, I will pass through the land of Egypt and strike down every firstborn son and firstborn male animal in the land of Egypt. I will execute judgment against all gods of Egypt, for I am the Lord. But the blood on your doorposts will serve as a sign. Blood, Passover, Lamb of God. Where you are staying, when I see the blood, I will pass over you. This plague of death will not touch you when I strike the land of Egypt. I have an iPhone and I can't find the chat button. I don't know. And so I'm not very good with technology, but here I can go to my phone and I just have chat publicly. Not like putting a chat out. Let's see. Look at that. It's really quick because my phone right here is right by my laptop. So I'm not really good. I'm not real tech savvy, but all I know is that I can watch this. It'd be very awkward if I tried to watch myself doing a live from my phone. But I know that I can pretty easily put a comment. I could type a comment into my phone. I could do it on my laptop too, I guess. But just I can see all the comments. And it'd be actually kind of easier if I read the comments. So I don't know. Let's continue on. Matthew in New Testament reading, chapter 20, verse 1. For the kingdom of heaven is like the landowner who went out early one morning to hire workers for the vineyard. He agreed to pay the normal daily wage and sent them out to work. At 9 o'clock in the morning, he was passing through the marketplace and saw some people standing around doing nothing. So he hired them, telling them he would pay them whatever was right at the end of the day. So they went to work in the vineyard. At noon and again at 3 o'clock, he did the same thing. At 5 o'clock that afternoon, he was in town again and saw some more people standing around. He asked them, "Why haven't you been working today?" They replied, "Because no one hired us." The landowner told them, "Then go out and join the others in my vineyard." Now, you've heard this story before. And so, as I come to the conclusion of this story, tell me, does it sound fair or does it not sound fair? Scott and Teresa Hahn now. Look at that. We've got now they have a joint account. You're throwing me off. Scott, are you switching accounts around? Did you already get in trouble in Facebook, in YouTube? How long does it take Scott to get in trouble? Not long. Anyway, so let's get back to the story. That evening, he told the foreman to call the workers in and pay them, beginning with the last workers first. When those hired at 5 o'clock were paid, each received a full day's wage. When those hired first came to get their paid, they assumed they would receive more. but they too were paid a day's wage. When they received their pay, they protested to the owner. Those people worked only 1 hour, and yet you've paid them just as much as you paid us, who worked all day in the scorching heat. He answered one of them, Friend, I haven't been unfair. Didn't you agree to work all day for the usual wage? Take your money and go. I wanted to pay this last worker the same as you. Is it against the law for me to do what I want with my money? Should you be jealous because I am kind to others? So those who are last now will be first then, and those who are first will be last. In their words, don't worry about others' walk. You know what it makes me think about is coming to faith. You know, I didn't come to faith, true faith, until I was nearly 50 years old. So I guess if you equate it to this story, it's kind of like I'm coming in at the middle of the workday, the middle of my life. And if I put my faith and trust in Jesus and what he has done on the cross, I will enjoy the same fruits. In this case, going to the story of the pay, as if I were to have found God earlier in life, in my childhood, come to true faith in my childhood, you know? So really, you kind of can equate it to that. Whether you found God when you were a child and have been walking with him on this journey since childhood, or whether you came in midstream, or for some, they may not give their life to him until the very end, looking to live the life they want to, and then they're going to get on a deathbed confession and give themselves to God because I don't trust myself before then. So that's kind of where you can kind of put it with this story as well. So the one who reaches the deathbed confession, confess their life to God, and they're going to get to paradise. And so whether it was in the beginning of your life and you've been walking with him ever since, whether it's like me at midlife, well, I'm kind of reaching more towards the end now. If I get to 100, it's midlife, or it's the very end. But the problem is for the people that wait until the very end of their life. Number one, you don't know when the end of your life's going to come, and so you may never reach the deathbed conversion, because tomorrow isn't promised for any of us. So it's a great plan if you can make it to that point, but you're not promised that point. And then the thing is, and this is where I think about, finding God, true faith in the middle of my life has really helped my walk. But it also makes me think of, why didn't I do this before this moment? If only. But the problem is, you can't change the past. All you can do is give your life to him and move forward. And understand that it's by moving forward, doing what God calls you to do with the remaining time you have left, you'll still be in paradise. You will still be in very good standing with him. It's those who dedicate, it's kind of like, makes you think about the thief on the cross. And all of a sudden, Jesus says, today you will join me in paradise. And some people might say, well, geez, he didn't do any good works, you know. He's got to get down off the cross and give to the poor and profess Jesus. He didn't do any of that. But how could Jesus allow him in paradise? That's the Father's choice. That's what this message is about. It's not for us to decide. And isn't it good that God gives us an entire lifetime to figure out the truth? Some of us have figured it out before others, but at least he gives us an entire lifetime to find the truth. And so that person that finds God on the deathbed, all the journey they missed out with God. And the thing is that it's about building treasures in heaven as well. How much treasure was in heaven for the man on the cross? He's there, but he didn't have much treasure there. The man that died, the man or the woman that dies on the deathbed, gives and confesses their life to God. They're there, but there's not much treasure. As Jesus was going up to Jerusalem, he took the 12 disciples aside privately and told them what was going to happen to him. Listen, he said, we're going up to Jerusalem where the Son of Man will be betrayed to the leading priests and the teachers of religious law. They will sentence him to die. Then they will hand him over to the Romans to be mocked, flogged with a whip, and crucified. But on the third day, he will be raised from the dead. Then the mother of James and John, the sons of Zebedee, came to Jesus with their sons. She knelt respectfully to ask a favor. What is your request? He asked. She replied, in your kingdom, please let my two sons sit in place of honor next to you, one on your right and the other on your left. But Jesus answered by saying to them, you don't know what you are asking. Are you able to drink from the bitter cup of suffering I'm about to drink? Oh, yes, they replied, we are able. Jesus told them, you will indeed drink from my bitter cup, but I have no right to say who will sit on my right or my left. My Father has prepared those places for the ones he has chosen. When the other 10 disciples heard what James and John had asked, they were indignant. But Jesus called them together and said, you know that the rulers in this world lord it over their people, and officials flaunt their authority over those under them. But among you, it will be different. Whoever wants to be the leader among you must be your servant, and whoever wants to be first among you must become your slave. For even the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve others, and to give his life as a ransom for many. And whenever I think about that, what about public servants? Are they not to serve and represent their constituents? And this is where the cynical Kevin comes out. If public servants are sent to represent and serve their constituents, then why all of a sudden, how are they becoming so rich? It changes people. Why? They must remember that all they are to do is to serve. Psalm 25, verse 1. O Lord, I give my life to you. I trust in you, my God. Do not let me be disgraced, or let my enemies rejoice in my defeat. No one who trusts in you will ever be disgraced, but disgrace comes to those who try to deceive others. Show me the right path, O Lord. Point out the road for me to follow. Lead me by your truth and teach me, for you are the God who saves me. All day long I put my hope in you. Remember, O Lord, your compassion and unfailing love, which you have shown from long ages past. Do not remember the rebellious sins of my youth. Yeah, please don't remember those. Remember me in the light of your unfailing love, for you are merciful, O Lord. The Lord is good and does what is right. He shows the proper path to those who go astray. He leads the humble in doing right, teaching them his way. The Lord leads with unfailing love and faithfulness all who keep his covenant and obey his demands. For the honor of your name, O Lord, forgive my many, many sins. Who are those who fear the Lord? He will show them the path they should choose. They will live in prosperity, and their children will inherit the land. The Lord is a friend to those who fear him. He teaches them this covenant, his covenant. My eyes are always on the Lord, for he rescues me from the traps of my enemies. Proverbs 6, verses 6 through 11. Take a lesson from the ants, you lazy bones. Learn from their ways and become wise. Though they have no prince or governor or ruler to make them work, they labor hard all summer, gathering food for the winter. But you, lazy bones, how long will you sleep? When will you wake up? A little extra sleep, a little more slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest. Then poverty will pounce on you like a bandit. Scarcity will attack you like an armed robber. And that brings us to the end of today's reading. And I'm not sure if we got any new viewers today, but what I typically do then is we wrap up with our daily prayer for today. So for anyone who's come on here for the very first time or may watch this in replay, thank you in whatever way. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and maybe we'll get pushed up to the top. And maybe there won't be. I don't think this message has never been about how many viewers. It's all been about obedience. God saying, I don't care how many people watch. It's about doing what you're called to do, whether you feel qualified or not. I'm not qualified to do this, but I was called to do this. And so this whole program has been about one man's journey with God, doing what he's called to do. And just as I do what I'm called to do, you must do what you are called to do as well. Because it all comes back to shalom. Seek him, ask, listen, obey, make it happen. For the classroom that has been with me, you've heard that time and time again. But we may have some new people that find us. We've got to teach this to the others, the other people that may come into the classroom, the importance of finding peace. And it's not through making a lot of money and having a lot of possessions, but what it's about doing God's will, storing treasures in heaven where no one can get them here. Doing what God calls you to do. And like we read today, God caused great plagues to come over the land. And we'll read more about it tomorrow. But what does he do? He works through man. And just as he worked through Moses and Aaron then, he works through you and I in these days. And how? By doing what God calls us to do. All right. Here we go. Faroon and Lai, a young Laotian couple, chose to follow Christ. When police surveyed their village to document Christians, Faroon's father struck his son and daughter-in-law off his family registration booklet, leaving the couple without passports and unable to attain work, education, or social services. In society's eyes, they were disgraced. Lord, strengthen all my persecuted Christian family members who are shamed and rejected by their family and friends because of their commitment to you. Lift their spirits. And in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. I know a little bit about this, being kind of cast away by friends and family. And I've talked about it quite often, that anytime you feel as though you're a castaway, a cast off, a black sheep, at times you can feel sorry for yourself. And every time I start feeling sorry for myself, I always hear God say, but I am here. I am in your corner. I will not leave you. I will not depart from you. In order to lose me, you're going to have to make the choice to walk away from me. For people of this world can be very fickle. If you don't do it the right way, if you don't hold the same thoughts as they, if you don't want to do the things they do, then they will cast you away. They will discard you, just like the garbage. But God won't do that to you. In order to lose God, you're going to have to make the choice to walk away from him. And though the world may walk away from you, may cast you away, may consider you the black sheep, if you have God on your side, you have everything you need. And with God, he has the power, he has the unfailing love to fill you in your every void. So even if there is no one, which you know that's the enemy. If you feel like you're in a place in which no one loves you, then either you haven't given yourself to God or you're spending too much time listening to the enemy. Because the enemy is going to tell you how unloved you are, how alone you are. Nobody loves you. But if you have God on your side, Like I said, you have everything you need. Take care. God bless. Have a wonderful day. And God willing, we will be back with you again come tomorrow morning. Until then.